Hello and welcome back to another episode of the WhizzbangBAM podcast. I'm your host, Brad Goodall. Today, in the Nashville studio with me, I have Micki Windham. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
How are you?
Good.
I sometimes do the intro up front and I say the parentheses style, job titles. What is it exactly you do, Micki?
I am the production manager at the label services company 30 Tigers. So what that means is I facilitate physical media manufacturing. So pulling in assets, masters, artwork, files, and the final product is either a CD or vinyl.
Okay. I've never, under my own name, I've never been involved in the vinyl construction process, but I have, through ONA, put out, we printed both American Fiction and the second record, Full Moon Heavy Light, on vinyl. And I went to an actual vinyl factory where they were actually stamping them one time in Athens, Georgia. I don't know which...
Kindercore Vinyl. That's actually where I was before 30 Tigers.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
they gave us a tour of that place, and at that time they were making like really interesting color blends. It was like this huge thing at that point to have like just the most rare color blends. Are we still doing that? Yes. I haven't bought a vinyl in a little while.
Yes, color is definitely a big part of it. A lot of times with color, we use those as exclusives. So either indie retail exclusives or your D2C tour.
That's a limited
so
vibe.
It makes it limited, yeah.
Okay.
And we do normally run a standard black pressing as well, and that is what's continually repressed.
Right.
So really the whole point of the color is to get people excited, get them to buy something that they do feel like is more exclusive.
Is it more expensive to make a colored one?
It is. It's not a whole lot more expensive, but there is a,
Right.
higher. The PVC is just more expensive.
I got you. Yeah, I do remember it had like all these little beads, and they had just huge tubs of beads, and the machines would pour them in and stamp them. It was a really strange process, but my dad owns a printing company. Kind of a similar instance of like rollers and things being stamped. So, I mean, I kind of related to the systems, but like, as far as where you work at 30 Tigers, do you guys have all those machines in your facility?
No, we use people like Kindercore.
It's all outsourced.
Yes, it's all
okay,
outsourced.
I got you.
Yes.
Day to day at 30 Tigers, what are you up to?
My days are they vary a lot, and sometimes I am pulling in assets, looking over artwork files to make sure like catalog number, UPC code, track listings are in the right order, or all of the credits on there from your mastering engineer to the studio to the musicians on it.
Working directly with the artist too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Pulling in masters, checking those out as well, making sure we're hitting deadlines, thinking of helping out quantities, helping pick the color LPs, what color are we going to make?
Right.
Things of that nature. So dealing with pressing plants, listening to test pressings is something else I do.
Oh, really? Okay. So you've gotten to hear some really interesting stuff before a lot of people have.
Yes.
Anything? Could you name something that you heard early that you're excited about or were excited about?
Oh gosh.
There might be legal matters there. Okay, don't say anything. Don't say anything.
Yes, always. It's cool to be kind of on the front end of it. I am typically the person who starts everything.
Right.
The first meeting, obviously after the artist is signed and we know we're actually going to pick it up,
right.
I kind of take the charge of getting everything going.
About the test listening, do you have like a little station? I'm picturing like just a chair, a really comfortable leather chair with headphones plugged in, a long cord plugged into a LP player.
Well, you really don't necessarily want to listen to test pressings in headphones.
Okay.
Because you're a little too close to it, because you think about actually when you listen to vinyl, it's normally a room setting.
Right.
It's when you have headphones on, you're going to hear a lot more of those ticks and pops and things like that, if you were listening in a room situation, they wouldn't jump out as much.
Right.
We're still working from home, so my setup is my home setup.
That sounds really pleasurable, listening to vinyl at home all day.
Yes, other than when you were listening to test pressings, you were listening to the same one over and over.
Sounds a little less exciting. Okay.
So, I mean, it is exciting, and you are actively listening for things that would be wrong.
Right.
So,
okay, so it's definitely work. It's not just absorbing it.
I like to start by putting them on and inactively listening to them while I'm working, because then if I'm like, whoa, what was that? That means that was likely a mistake. If nothing really jumps out at me, then I'll go back and kind of dive back in. But if something pulls me out of whatever I'm doing, I'll go back and check out another copy, see if it's there as well, see if it's just a fluke on that one, or if it's something that could be
You're kind of like the last filter between artist and consumer, really. That's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the, we have a whole sales team too. So really where my job ends, everybody else is picking up.
Okay, I got you.
All of the product has to be in the warehouse 7 weeks before release date to be able to get out worldwide.
Right.
So really, once I'm done with it, the sales team is starting and getting it out to stores and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. Are we on like sort of a delay because of COVID as far as album or LPs, vinyl getting out there on time and on schedule? Is that, I know that's like an industry-wide thing.
Yeah, perfect storm of things. I mean, the demand for vinyl was increasing. The supply chains were not able to keep up with it as quickly. It was increasing. So you had scarcity on top of whenever COVID happened, people were shut down. There are issues getting PVC in because most of it comes in from overseas, all of that kind of stuff. So it was kind of the perfect storm, right? As everybody was really getting excited about the format, so many pressing plants shut down. So everybody's kind of trying to catch back up. I think the other flip side of that is if you as a fan of an artist of music and you can no longer support your, a band by buying concert tickets, you could still support them by buying an LP.
Right. And the supply chain thing is not necessarily just unique to vinyl production.
Correct.
I mean, that's just across all things.
It's across the world right now.
I mean, that's like the modern problem, but I want to just hop back years back. I want to say it was probably the late 90s vinyl or early 2000s. Vinyl saw the resurgence. What caused this?
Well, I mean, it came from, vinyl died due to, obviously, the CDs, or due to CDs. What kind of kept vinyl alive was indie labels, but plus a lot of hip-hop 12-inch singles for DJ usage. So then, I guess whenever it started becoming cool again is, I think, because with so much stuff, you can listen to anything you want in your pocket at all times. So being able to actually hold something and own something too is very important to consumers these days. We
lost that for a while. Yeah. The iPod, the Nano, everything was so small and all just on hard drives. Yeah. The idea of getting something, large you can flip and experience and unwrap and flip open with the album art and all that.
Your lyrics, your liner notes, all of those things.
So it wasn't definitely just nostalgia though, because I mean there are hard audio files that just will not listen to anything but vinyl somewhere.
The audio files.
The audio files, okay. So you're not one of those people. I mean, you listen on all platforms?
I listen on all platforms. Right. I mean, CDs probably the
most?
No, the least.
The least?
I mean, the only place I have a CD player is in my car, and a lot of cars don't even have CD players anymore.
Right.
But CDs are still selling. I mean, I definitely still manufacture CDs.
Right.
Vinyl obviously takes up a lot more of my time. It's just harder to produce.
Do you have a favorite vinyl? Do you have a collection? First question, do you have a collection? And then secondly, what's some of your favorites?
Yes, I have a very large collection. I do have this great, a little inappropriate, it's Light in the Attic reissue of 70s porn music. And so it is actually pulled from porn videos. So you have some noises
and that's your favorite.
It's not my favorite, but it's
that's a rare.
It's something really cool and just
are there
funny.
Artists listed on that?
I mean, it's all music from movies, and so Ron Jeremy's in a lot of them, like kind of the intros and stuff like that. So it's all that 70s kind of boogie disco.
His like really poorly acted dialogue is like in front of the Waka Waka guitar tracks and stuff.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of that on you? Can I get a rip? Can I get a MP3 rip?
And it did come, in a sealed black. You could not see the cover on it. The A side is the ass side. B side is the boob side. So you've definitely the center label is a, woman's chest, and the spindle goes right where her nipple is.
I think 30 Tigers should print millions of those and get those circulating.
It was a Light in the Attic reissue. It wasn't a 30 Tigers reissue.
Okay.
But,
that's a real rarity. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
Besides the less inappropriate repressings by Light in the Attic, what is some of your favorite? What are you spending, this month or last month, this season?
What's on my turntable right now is Joshua Headley's Neon Blue.
Okay, I don't know.
A couple of weeks ago. He's on New West.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of Daptone stuff too. You know, Sharon Jones, Charles Bradley, stuff like that. I have a very wide range of stuff.
I gotcha.
LPs.
I guess another question I have is, do you feel like vinyl is a necessity for any and all artists? I mean, I feel like not every genre goes through the vinyl process.
Yes, most right now it seems to be hip hop and maybe obviously commercial country are not very high vinyl sales. Now that is changing as hip hop. With hip hop, we're seeing a lot more of it. I think it really just depends on your consumer and what they buy and how they listen to music. But I do think it's a very important thing for artists to have, which is what kind of stinks right now with as long as it does take to produce records that, if you are a smaller indie artist, it's harder to get in and get them made in a timely fashion. I
feel like the best place and the most satisfying place to have vinyl is the merch table. I just feel every time we had merch with a merch table with vinyl, that was always one of the biggest sellers. It's just easy to grab. It always looks good. It just pops right off the merch table every time. I would say it's an essential for any growing artist to have at least one batch.
And it's nice, it's something to get signed.
That too.
You can't really, I guess you can sign a T-shirt, but it's not the same thing as having something like that signed.
That's great. I mean, 30 Tigers is really, are there other companies involved in just like what feels like the resurgence? Was there somebody who got there early on, or was 30 Tigers right there when the resurgence happened?
I mean, we've always
been there.
Vinyl. So obviously the numbers have grown tremendously. It's been hard to keep up with, especially with a lot of our evergreen catalog titles. The Tyler Childers Purgatory. Can't keep it in stock.
Can't keep Tyler Childers Purgatory vinyl in stock.
Doesn't matter how many we press. It seems like it's constantly gone.
Well, that's great.
Because you've got some of the bigger players that, Walmart and Target have now come in as well and are selling LPs, and they do exclusives. And so once, a store like that picks it up, it's, out
You've made it when your vinyl is printed by 30 Tigers or distributed by 30 Tigers and it's on sale at Target. You've made it.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
You've made it. Or if your vinyl is just, never mind. I'm not even going to make the joke about the XXX. We're going to let that one slide. I'm not even going to make the joke. Thank you for being here, Micki Windham. I appreciate you.
Thank you.